Sir, Mike, I'm really sorry you're going through this. Okay. You're allowed to cry, Mike.
What if I told you that every year over 5 million parents around the world lose a child, and even the most famous stars are not spared from that kind of pain? From Eric Clapton writing Tears in Heaven after his son fell from a 53rd floor window, to Mike Tyson breaking down after his 4-year-old daughter died in a treadmill accident. Here are 30 celebrities who had a child die and were never the same. 1. Cristiano Ronaldo. In 2022, something very sad happened in Cristiano Ronaldo's life. He and his partner, Georgina Rodriguez, were going to have twins, but only one baby lived. Their baby boy died during birth. They named their baby girl Bella Esmeralda. She survived, but losing their son was very painful. A few days later, Ronaldo went back to playing soccer. He still ran fast and played hard, but something had changed. He didn't smile as much. He talked more about family. People could see he was sad. Ronaldo said it was the hardest thing he had ever been through. He keeps his son's ashes next to his father's. He talks to them every day. This small act means a lot to him. It helps him feel close to them. Fans started to see a new side of Ronaldo. He was still strong, but also more open. The loss didn't stop him, but it changed him. That moment became part of his story. He became a little quieter, a little softer. 2. Keanu Reeves. Known for being quiet and kind, Keanu Reeves has a past full of pain. In 1999, he and his girlfriend, Jennifer Syme, were going to have a baby girl. They named her Ava, but Ava was born too early and did not live. They were heartbroken. Their relationship ended soon after. Less than 2 years later, Jennifer died in a car accident. 2 big losses, very close together. Keanu didn't talk much about it. He didn't write posts or give long interviews, but people could see the sadness in him. It was in his eyes, his words, and how he acted. When he played John Wick, a man who lost someone he loved, people felt it was real, because Keanu had lived through that kind of pain. People say he is gentle and different from other stars. That may be because of what he has gone through. Losing Ava and Jennifer changed him forever. 3. Joe Biden. Before Joe Biden became president, he lived through very sad moments. In 1972, just after he won his first Senate race, his wife Neelia and their baby girl Naomi died in a car crash. His 2 sons, Beau and Hunter, were badly hurt but survived. Joe was sworn into the Senate at their hospital beds. He took the train home every night to be with his boys. His family came first. Years later, in 2015, his son Beau died of brain cancer at age 46. Beau had gone to war, worked hard, and many thought he could become president one day. Joe said Beau was the best man he ever knew. This second loss hurt deeply, but it also helped him understand other people who are hurting. When he talks to families who lost someone, he speaks from the heart. He knows what that pain feels like. 4. Eric Clapton. In March 1991, something terrible happened to Eric Clapton. His 4-year-old son, Connor, fell from a window on the 53rd floor of a New York building. The window had been left open by mistake. Clapton was close by. He had planned to take Connor to the zoo that day, but in just a moment, Connor was gone. After that, Clapton disappeared from public life. He stopped playing music. He didn't speak to anyone. The pain was too much. But after some time, he picked up his guitar again. He used music to say what he could not speak. He wrote a song called Tears in Heaven. It was a sad, beautiful song that touched people all over the world. Every word came from his broken heart. The song became a way for people to remember their lost children. But Clapton later said he couldn't sing it anymore. It hurt too much. That day changed Clapton forever. He was once a wild rock star who lived without rules. After losing Connor, he became quiet and thoughtful. He stopped drinking. He stayed out of the spotlight. When he spoke, his words had weight. He was a father who had held great joy and then lost it in an instant. 5. Prince. In October of the mid-1990s, Prince faced deep sadness. He was ready to become a father. At his home, Paisley Park, he had built a sweet nursery. It had soft fabrics, toys, and hope. He and his wife were ready for a baby boy named Amir. But something was wrong. Amir was born with a rare condition. His skull was shaped wrong and his body was weak. He lived only 6 days. Prince didn't cry in public. He didn't talk about it on TV. But his music changed. His songs became deeper and full of big questions. They weren't just about love anymore. They wondered about life and the heavens. People close to him said he grew quiet. He still wore bright clothes, but inside, he was different. His wife felt the silence too. They slowly drifted apart. Soon, they were no longer together. Prince kept making music, but something had changed. He stopped sharing his personal life. He didn't talk about the baby. He let the music speak for him. His pain lived in his lyrics. 6. John Travolta. While on a trip to the Bahamas to rest, John Travolta and his wife Kelly Preston faced something terrible. Their teenage son, Jet, had a seizure, hit his head, and didn't wake up. He died that day. Jet had been sick for a long time, but the family kept it private. They stayed close and careful. Still, nothing could prepare them for this loss. Travolta tried to save him, but it was too late. After that, both actors disappeared from public life. No interviews, no photos, no events. Just silence. Travolta later said some days he didn't even want to open his eyes. Preston said it was the hardest time of their lives. Their faith helped them get through it, but the sadness never really went away. Even when they returned to the cameras and smiled, something had changed. The hurt got quieter, but it was still there. 2 years later, they had another baby, a boy named Benjamin. They called him a gift. He brought light back into their lives. But Jet's memory stayed with them. Travolta often spoke about him, online, at events, or in quiet moments. His movies began to show more emotion. He acted with more feeling. You could see the pain in his eyes. Then, in 2020, another loss. Kelly Preston died of cancer. 7. The fall of Mike Tyson. By 2009, Mike Tyson had lived through a lot. Fights, fame, jail time, and many mistakes. But nothing hurt him like losing his daughter, Exodus. She was just 4 years old. One day, she was playing near a treadmill at home. A cord got wrapped around her neck. She couldn't breathe. Her brother found her. They called for help, but it was too late. Tyson rushed to the hospital, but she was already gone. The world knew him as a tough fighter, but after that, he went quiet. He didn't get angry. He broke down. He later said he didn't know how to keep going, but instead of going back to his old ways, he chose something new. He started healing. He stopped using it. He went to therapy. He began to open up about his pain. On his podcast, he shared real, honest stories, full of sadness and truth. Losing Exodus changed him. He said he felt like he had failed to protect her. He became more gentle. He tried harder with his other kids. He made time for them. He listened. The tough boxer became a new kind of fighter, someone who was trying to stay strong on the inside. 8. Sylvester Stallone. In July 2012, something changed in Sylvester Stallone. His oldest son, Sage, was found dead in his Los Angeles home. He was only 36 years old. People guessed it was because of bad choices, but it wasn't. He had a heart attack because his arteries were blocked. No substances, no mistakes. Just a heart that stopped too soon. Sage had once acted with his father in Rocky V. He was also working on becoming a director and artist. Then, all of a sudden, he was gone. Stallone, known for playing tough heroes, disappeared from the public eye. He pulled back from the spotlight. He didn't talk much about his pain. He didn't cry for cameras, but people noticed he wasn't the same. He didn't smile like before. He didn't walk the same way. The happy father who once loved being around his kids now had a sadness that never went away. When he came back to work, the change showed. In Creed, his acting had a new feeling. The pain in his words felt real. When he talked about loss and being a father, it didn't feel like acting. It felt like his own life. He started protecting his family more. He kept his other children out of the public eye. Because once you lose one child, the fear of losing another never leaves. 9. Dr. Dre. In August 2008, music legend Dr. Dre faced a pain deeper than any song. His son, Andre Jr., died at only 20 years old. He had gone out one night and came home, but by morning he was gone. The cause was an accidental mix of a strong opioid and morphine. He died alone in his room. Dr. Dre was under a lot of pressure. He was building a music empire, creating albums and brands. But when his son died, he stopped everything. The man who made music for millions went quiet. He didn't speak to the media. He didn't do interviews or public tributes. But people close to him saw the change. He was no longer the same. Dr. Dre just stopped sharing his feelings through music. Instead, he gave back in other ways. He donated to schools. He helped kids. He tried to keep others safe from the same pain. 10. Paul Newman. In 1978, Paul Newman lost his son Scott. He was only 28. Scott died after taking too many pills with alcohol. He had been trying to follow his father's path, hoping to be an actor. But the pressure of being Paul Newman's son was too heavy. It made him feel lost. Paul Newman was heartbroken, but he didn't hide it. He started the Scott Newman Center to help young people avoid the same mistakes. He didn't just give money. He went to schools, helped programs, and gave his time. It was his way of talking to Scott, of helping others when he couldn't help his son. He changed after Scott died. He cared less about being famous. He gave more to causes. He started Newman's Own, a company that gave all its money to charity. He traded red carpets for helping people. He didn't speak much about Scott, but you could feel the pain in his voice. In the end, he was a father trying to find peace. 11. Lisa Marie Presley. In 2020, Lisa Marie Presley lost her son Benjamin. He was 27. He took his own life in her home. Benjamin looked a lot like Elvis, but behind his looks, he was very sad. Lisa Marie called him her twin soul. They shared more than just family. They were deeply close. His death broke her. She was home when it happened. From that day on, she was never the same. She stopped writing music. She stayed out of the spotlight. When she did talk, her words were full of sadness. Her songs had deep pain. She tried to be strong for her other children. But something in her was gone. Until she died in 2023, she lived with the deep silence of losing Benjamin. 12. Bill Cosby. In 1997, Bill Cosby's son Ennis was shot and died. He was 27. He was fixing a tire in Los Angeles when a man shot him. Ennis had worked hard to succeed. He had learning problems but didn't give up. He was studying at Columbia University. He had a bright future. Cosby, known for his happy TV dad image, went quiet. He was deeply hurt. He said very little. The man who made people laugh was now full of pain. Ennis had meant the world to him. Out of that pain, Cosby started a foundation called Hello Friend. It helped kids with learning needs. Those were Ennis's favorite words. Cosby went back to performing, but his joy was smaller. His eyes looked different. Even before his later scandals, people saw he had changed. 13. Mary Tyler Moore. In 1980, Mary Tyler Moore's life changed forever. Her only son, Richie Meeker, was just 24 when he died in a gun accident. It happened fast. One moment he was alive, the next he was gone. Mary was heartbroken. No mother is ever ready for something like that. Mary was famous for playing strong, happy women on TV. But her real life was harder. She had Richie when she was only 18. Fame and being a mom didn't mix easily. She and Richie loved each other, but their relationship had ups and downs. When he died, part of her died too. She didn't talk about it much, but her friends noticed she changed. She moved slower. Her voice was softer. Her smile wasn't as bright. Her acting felt heavier, like something was always on her mind. Mary spent more time helping causes, especially for diabetes, which she had too. She tried to find meaning again. Her work became serious. Her smile felt far away. 14. Roy Orbison. In 1968, Roy Orbison was singing in England when a fire hit his home in Tennessee. The fire took his 2 sons, Roy Dwayne 10 and Anthony 6. They didn't make it out. The house burned fast. In just minutes, they were gone. This was not Roy's first loss. 2 years earlier, his wife Claudette died in a crash. Now his sons are gone too. His world felt empty. Roy was known for his sad, beautiful songs. Now he was living the sadness for real. His voice still sang, but now it held more pain. He went back to singing, but you could hear the grief in every word. He didn't speak much about the fire, but those around him could tell he had changed. His eyes looked tired. His words were careful. Music still gave him joy, but the sadness never left. 15. Robert Redford. In 1959, before Robert Redford was famous, something terrible happened. His baby son, Scott, died in his sleep. He was only 2 months old. No one saw it coming. One day, the baby was there. Next, the crib was quiet. Robert didn't talk about it much, but the sadness stayed with him. It changed him. He became thoughtful and serious. While other actors were loud and fun, he was calm and deep. He put his pain into his work. In movies like Ordinary People and A River Runs Through It, you can feel the sorrow. He knew what it was like to lose someone. 16. Chrissy Teigen. In the fall of 2020, Chrissy Teigen and John Legend faced something very sad. Chrissy was 20 weeks pregnant. That means she was halfway through, but something went wrong. The baby, a boy named Jack, had no heartbeat. Her placenta had a problem, and she started bleeding a lot. Doctors did everything they could. They gave her blood. They watched her day and night, but nothing worked. Jack was born, but he never cried. Chrissy and John showed their sadness to the world. They shared photos from the hospital. Some people were kind, others were not, but they didn't hide. Chrissy said the photos proved Jack was real, even if he only lived for a short time. John made a song called Never Break. He sang it to honor Jack. It was more than music. It was a goodbye. That day changed them. Chrissy began to help other moms who lost babies. She wrote about her pain. She cried with others. John also spoke about it. The sadness didn't go away, even when they had more kids. Their family got bigger, but the pain stayed. A piece of their hearts was missing. 17. Vince Neil. In 1995, Vince Neil faced something harder than any concert. His daughter, Skylar, was only 4 years old. She had a rare kind of cancer called Wilms tumor. Doctors tried everything. She had surgeries. She had chemo. But she did not get better. After months of fighting, Skylar died. Vince was heartbroken. He stopped singing. He stopped being in the spotlight. His friends said he was different. He was no longer the loud rock star. He was just a dad who missed his little girl. But later, Vince did something strong. He made a group called the Skylar Neil Memorial Fund. It helps sick kids. It raised millions of dollars. Vince sang again. He smiled again. But deep down, he was still hurting. Every song held a piece of Skylar. 18. Marie Osmond. Singing was her life, but in 2010, Marie Osmond's world changed forever. Her son Michael was 18. He felt very sad. He had depression. He tried to get help. He went to counseling. He went to rehab, but it was still too heavy. One night, he jumped from a tall building. He died. Marie was crushed. She stopped working. She stayed away for a while. When she came back, she talked about Michael. She talked about how depression hurts, even if we can't see it. She wanted people to listen to their kids. Marie used her voice in a new way. She talked on TV about mental health. She wanted to help others. Her smile changed. It wasn't the same, but her truth helped people. Her son's death left a mark. She shared it, hoping it would save someone else. 19. Nick Cave. In 2015, Nick Cave lost his son, Arthur. Arthur was only 15. He was a good kid, smart and curious. One day he tried LSD for the first time. Then he wandered off. Near the cliffs of Brighton, he fell. It happened fast. There was no second chance. Nick had always written songs about sad and dark things, but now the sadness was real. It lived in his house. It lived in him. He made an album called Skeleton Tree. The songs were full of pain. His voice shook. The words sounded broken. It wasn't just music anymore. It was grief. Fans began writing him letters. Many had lost someone too. Nick wrote back, slowly, carefully. He said grief didn't end you. It stayed with you. It changed shape. It became a part of you. A painful friend. 20. Gloria Trevi. In 1999, Gloria Trevi was in jail in Brazil. She had been arrested after a big scandal with her old manager. The news was full of her name and serious stories. But inside the jail, something worse happened. Gloria gave birth to a baby girl named Ana Dalai. The baby died a few weeks later. No one ever explained why. Her body was never found. Gloria was left with pain, no answers, and no peace. Her grief was hidden, trapped behind the prison walls. After she got out, Gloria talked a little about her loss. She almost never said her daughter's name, but the sadness was in her songs. Her voice changed. It had pain in it. Songs like Todos Me Miran and Gloria were not just music. They were her story. 21. Joan Sebastian. A star on stage, Joan Sebastian wrote songs with heart and sang with power, but behind the fame, he was hurting. 2 of his sons lost their lives. It broke something in him. In 2006, his son Trigo died after a show in Texas. 4 years later, his son Juan was shot in Mexico. 2 sons, 2 places, but the same deep pain. Joan kept working. He smiled. He sang. But something had changed. His songs felt heavier. Secreto de Amor didn't just sound sweet. It felt like a goodbye. He sang for love, but also for the sons he lost. Even while fighting bone cancer, he wrote music. But the stage wasn't about fame anymore. It became a way to remember. He didn't speak much about the deaths, but his eyes showed the pain. 22. Wiesen. In 2016, something very sad happened to Wiesen. His baby daughter, Victoria, was born with a rare health problem called trisomy 13. Doctors had told him and his wife before she was born that she might not live very long. Even knowing this, they chose to love her with all their hearts. They brought her into the world and cared for her every day. Victoria lived for just over a month, surrounded by love. Then she passed away. Wiesen didn't hide his sadness. He told his fans about Victoria. He called her a warrior. He wasn't trying to get attention. He just wanted other families going through the same thing to feel less alone. He kept making music, but it sounded different. His songs now had deeper meaning. In one song called Menina, he sang about love, faith, and staying strong during hard times. On stage, he still had energy, but now there was also something softer in him. 23. Mirtha Legrand. About 25 years ago, something very painful happened to Mirtha Legrand. Her only son, Daniel, died from pancreatic cancer. He was just over 50 years old. The illness came slowly and painfully. Daniel wasn't just her son. He worked with her, helped her, and was her best friend. Even though she was hurting inside, Mirtha kept working. She kept hosting her famous lunch show. But people could tell something was different. Her eyes looked sad. Her voice was a little slower. Her smile didn't shine the same way. Daniel had always been right there with her, helping behind the scenes. After he passed, the TV studio felt empty. His loss wasn't just something she felt, it was something everyone could see. Still, she didn't give up. She leaned on her family, especially her granddaughter Juana. Juana became very close to her. Later, Juana would help take over the show. In her, people could see little signs of Daniel. Mirtha never talked much about her pain, but it was always there. She stayed strong and graceful, but she was never quite the same. Even when she didn't say his name, you could hear Daniel in her voice. 24. Talina Fernandez. In 2005, Talina Fernandez got the worst phone call a mother could get. Her daughter Mariana, who was not even 40, had died outside her house. She had been scared during a robbery attempt. The shock was too much for her heart, and she died before help came. Talina had been a big name in Mexican TV news, but after Mariana died, her world changed. She stepped away from the cameras, not because she had to, but because her heart wasn't the same. Her voice, once strong, was now full of sadness. Still, Talina didn't give up. She became the main caregiver for Mariana's kids. Her house was full of young voices again. She became a mom again, even while hurting inside. When she went back on TV, people saw the change. She was still smart and funny, but softer now. She often talked about Mariana. She didn't want her daughter's memory to fade. Every time she said her name, it kept Mariana close. 25. Hunter Tylo. In 2007, actress Hunter Tylo faced a heartbreak no mother wants. Her 19-year-old son Michael drowned at home. He had a seizure near the pool. It was fast, silent, and no one was there to save him. Hunter, known for her role in daytime TV, stopped everything. She left the spotlight. The scripts and cameras didn't matter anymore. She stayed away from the public eye. Her house, once full of laughter, felt quiet. Michael had epilepsy, but he was full of life and talent. His death wasn't just a loss. It left a deep pain. When Hunter went back to work, people noticed the change. She was still beautiful and talented, but she didn't shine the same way. She didn't talk much, and when she did, she spoke about Michael carefully, like saying his name brought him back. 26. Maribel Guardia. In April 2023, Maribel Guardia's world changed forever. Her son, Julian Figueroa, died at just 27 years old from a heart attack. He died in the house they shared, and every room now feels empty to her. She didn't just lose a son, she lost the light in her life. Julian was not only her child, but also the son of Joan Sebastian, a famous singer who had died years before. That death hurt Maribel deeply, but losing Julian made the pain worse. It was like losing both all over again. After his death, Maribel was on TV and in the news. People saw her face everywhere, but behind her smile, she was broken. She thanked people for their kind words, but inside, she felt lost. She went back to work, not because she felt ready, but because being alone in the quiet hurt more. Now, Maribel speaks more slowly. Her eyes often look far away. She talks about love, loss, and her grandson, the little boy who gives her hope. She still looks strong and graceful, but something inside her is missing. When she speaks, her voice carries pain, like she wants to call out for her son, but knows he won't answer. 27. Anna's last anchor. In 2006, Anna Nicole Smith lost the one person who kept her steady. Her son Daniel died at 20 years old, just 3 days after his baby sister was born. He had come to the Bahamas to visit his mom in the hospital. He walked into her room and collapsed. In a moment, he was gone. Doctors said he had taken too many kinds of medicine at once, but for Anna, the reason didn't matter. She saw her son disappear in front of her. She screamed so loud, people down the hall could hear it. That scream never really stopped. Daniel was always by her side. Through fame, gossip, and pain, he was her calm. Without him, she felt empty. At his funeral, she held onto his casket like it was the last real thing in her world. After that, something in her broke. Her eyes lost their light. Her walk became slow. Her voice changed. The world saw her fade. Her smile became smaller. Her joy turned to confusion. She held her new baby girl, but part of her wasn't there. There were court fights and news stories, but none of that mattered to her anymore. 5 months later, Anna Nicole died in a Florida hotel. Pills were found in her body, just like with Daniel. Some said it was fame that broke her. Others talked about bad luck. But the people close to her knew the truth. She died from a broken heart. At 28, Mia Farrow, acting, helping others, and raising a big family. Mia Farrow has done all of it, but behind the spotlight, there's a lot of sadness. She had 14 children. 3 of them died. Tam was only 19 when her heart stopped working. Lark got very sick and passed away. Thaddeus, at 27, ended his own life in 2016. Each time, Mia lost a part of her world. Mia didn't hide from the pain, but she didn't talk about it all the time either. She shared happy memories, birthdays, smiles, drawings. She didn't talk about how they died. She talked about who they were. Her house used to be full of laughter and noise. Now it's mostly quiet. Empty chairs and quiet halls remind her of what she lost. But she keeps going. She helps kids around the world. She speaks up for people who can't. Sometimes she acts in movies or shows. Her hair is gray now. Her eyes are still kind, but you can see sadness in them. Not because she gave up, but because she remembers. She doesn't cry in front of the world. She grieves with quiet strength. That grief has become something powerful, something beautiful. 29. Greg Kinnear. Once seen often on TV and in movies, Greg Kinnear played kind, funny people who made others feel good. People liked him for his calm and warm way of acting. But in 2021, something changed. His young daughter died in a car crash. The family didn't tell the news. They stayed quiet. Greg stopped going on shows. He stopped acting in new things. Offers came, but he said no. The world kept going, but Greg seemed frozen in time. He was still alive, but something in him had changed. Friends saw it. He spoke softer. He looked far away, like he was thinking of something sad. He wasn't the same. Before the loss, he brought joy to the screen. After, he chose quieter roles, ones about pain and healing. He never told the world what happened. He didn't have to. His sadness showed in his eyes, in his voice. Now, years later, Greg still works sometimes. He is careful about what he chooses. He spends more time with family, out of the spotlight. The pain never left, but it shaped who he is. Time with his family. That bright light he once had is softer now. Not gone, but different. Tommy Lee. Loud and wild, Tommy Lee lived like a storm. He played drums in huge stadiums. He made wild jokes, posted funny clips, and partied hard. People saw him as a rock god. But in 2022, everything changed. The music didn't stop with a bang. It stopped with silence. His youngest son, Dylan, died from an overdose. It happened quietly, without news cameras or big headlines. But for Tommy, it broke everything. The pain was deep and quiet. Tommy stopped posting online. No more selfies, no more wild videos, no more jokes. For someone who always lived out loud, the silence said everything. After some time, he started to speak again, but in a new way. He didn't pretend to be okay. He didn't hide the hurt. He said what many parents feel after a loss like that. Nothing can fix it. The pain stays. Still, he kept playing music. He kept going on tour. But fans could see it. The fire in his eyes had changed. His drum solos were still fast, still strong, but something inside him had slowed down. At home, he changed too. There were fewer parties. He posted less. He spent more time thinking and talking with close friends. He didn't talk about fame or money anymore. He talked about his son, about pain, about wanting to help others avoid that kind of loss.